Hi, this is the introduction video to the BP judging series. In this video, I'm going to explain the structure and the flow of the session and why is it split in the way it is split. Um, in BP judging, there are three parts to the BP judging in the first place. First part is how to judge the debate in the first place, which is how to get the right call or the most justified one. So that will include how to track, how to understand who's winning, how to be persuaded, etc. etc. Second part is how to deliberate, either as a chair or a panel member. So deliberation is the second part that you are expected to do as a BP judge. The third part is giving an OA. So if you are in chair, delivering justification to the teams for the sake that they understand why they lost or won, and for them to score you well is going to be the third part of BP judging. The sessions, though, are split into four parts, which means it is further split into four sessions. Why is that? Because I do not want to make any session more than 45 minutes. And I also think that that should be followed regardless anywhere because absorbing material that is longer than 14 minutes, 45 minutes, is difficult, especially for beginner debaters or judges, which for who the session is targeted for. So that's why it is split further into four sessions. The four sessions are as follows. The first one is judging a clash. So, how do you judge a clash? How to be convinced onto either side, what to buy, what not to buy, etc. A clash is the unit of the debate, which means multiple clashes together make a debate. The second section is judging comparisons. A BP comparison is a comparison of two teams. There are six comparisons in the BP debate and extensions. So extensions are really important in BP debating because out of the six comparisons, five depend on you judging the extension well, and hence you should know how to judge an extension, how to credit it, and how to decide that this extension is more important than their own opening, etc. Right? That is second session. The first two sessions together make the first part of BP judging, which is getting the correct call or the most recent one. Third one is deliberation as a wing. So this starts the second part of BP judging, but we are only taking wings here, which means this third session will only talk about how to contribute as a wing member, which means either as a panelist or a trainee, not a chair. So how to contribute in deliberation, how to be scored well, how to respond, how to be concise, etc. etc. Right? And then fourthly, after that, we'll just in general learn how to be a good BP chair, which means running the deliberation well, how to contribute in a deliberation as a chair, and then also learning how to deliver an OA to the speakers. Because as chair, you will be most likely giving the OA and you want to be scored well. You also want the speakers to be satisfied by the justification. So we'll learn how to give the OA. So this is the split for all four sessions. One thing to note is that this session is assuming that you want to be an honest, good an honestly good judge, and at the same time get scored well, because it is possible for you to get scored well while not being a good judge, while not giving the best call, while not deliberating the best. There are tricks or just persuasion techniques that you can utilize to convince speakers that you're good, to convince panel members that you're good, while not actually being good or paying attention, etc. Right? That's not going to be discussed here. I do think that is possible, but I think in the long term, just being an honestly good judge will work out better for anyone, as well as that is considered. I also think that getting scored well is also part of learning BP judging. I'm not thinking from a purist lens that, oh, how much you get scored doesn't matter. It does matter. But I think we're going to do both, which is being a good judge and being scored proportionally for being a good judge, right? So that will be the structure and the material in this session. I recommend people to take an extra session after these four. If you're a trainer, you're referring to this material of just going through the WBC manual together, especially for beginners, because people don't do it on their own because it's difficult, it's boring. So that is also something that can be done by a trainer. The material that was referred to, videos or documents, are linked here in the material as well. I'll link this document in the description as well. And yeah, that's it. We can start with the first video, which will cover the first two sessions.